Hello everybody, and welcome in. I feel like the music came in at a perfect time. Welcome into a late night South Park Phone Destroyer weekly update with yours truly, Glanzer. We will be going through a few of the games from last week, not all of them. If you want to check them out, you can check them out on probably just the last video on my channel. I'll put it up in the corner here once we get going. But welcome in, everybody. Big crew already here. Happy dude. Am I gonna rip some Facebook fuckers? Nah, I don't care about these people. No, it was just I honestly, you can maybe tell in my face I just woke up from a nap. But oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, no, I did. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, welcome in everybody. We're gonna be going through the update as per usual. Should be quite straightforward. There's not too much going on. Update should be pretty simple. But I mean, this is the first time. I think this is the first week after we've played with the changes to Critters, Alien Clyde, and what else did they change? Well, the new kid thing, Sizzler? Was Sizzler the other change? Didn't really notice any of those changes. I did notice more critters than normal. But anyway, we'll talk about that more when we get to the update as per usual. All right, let's get the decks. Or no, the decks are later. Let's get the games. We only have a few that we're gonna watch this time. I don't want to relive what Hillbilly's talking about, so if you want to watch that one, you can check out the Team Wars games on YouTube for week 5. It'll be up in the corner right about now. I'm gonna put my finger like this a bunch so that when I'm doing it later, I can like see it and know, hey, it needs to go up in the corner right about now. Yeah, I still probably could have figured it out. I've had that type of lag before, and the best case is always to just put stuff in front of your new kid. But I think even at that point, I got inkened, and then yeah. Anyway, Moody, this guy's got good levels. He had the level 7 Mackie, and Mackie on defense with your new kid is some of the best defense in the game, because new kid with that extra, whatever boost is based on the level, can be very devastating, especially when new kid's level 14. Like when it's new kid level 25, it already does a decent amount of damage by itself. But when you have a new kid level 14, and all of a sudden it's doing an extra 50, 60, 70 damage, depending on what's boosting it. There's only a few things that boost new kid. The puppy dog, Sparky does. Gunslinger does. What else? I used Murph there thinking maybe he would switch targets to Princess. I don't really know how that targeting works. It was interesting to be able to play Mayberry Pig and Satan this week. I felt Satan was probably... I'd say Satan was probably safer because the cock magic was an option. And obviously if you play it wrong, your push gets cock magic. Like right here, if you just stop playing cards and let my push kill all his cards. That was a terrible ninja. Only hit Timmy. And then right there use cock magic. That's pretty good value, right? The Arrow Storm, high level. Getting it through. Don't forget, Moody used to be adventure locked a long time ago. So this game, these levels harken to that. Had Gunslinger, Mackie, and Sparky boosting my new kids app earlier. That's fucking great, dude. 74, yeah, that's right. 74 at 6. I mean, you saw right there, I actually I knowingly exploited a bug. I knew that. So there's a bug that exists in South Park where if your new kid kills something at max range, if it's on the last hit, it will like it will switch to another target immediately and like get a double shot. And that normally you don't really notice that when you're killing like a Zen and then you're attacking, you know, Swashbuckler after that. You don't really notice that. But when you're attacking rats or something that new kid one shots, you actually really do notice it. Because he kills them rapid fire. Pop, 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 pop. The only reason he didn't just kill all 4 of them was because they weren't in range. So, little pro tips there. Pro tips! Just a tip. Alright, we got Swashbuckler coming through. Swashbuckler is an interesting card. It's one of those cards where if you don't know what you're doing, getting that last 3 bar with 0 seconds left. It's one of those ones where if you don't know what you're doing, was that this? No, that's that one. It's kind of hard to get that value from Swashbuckler. Obviously, you always want the key to Swashbuckler is to make sure that people have to walk as far as they have to Swashbuckler, which usually means their main line you kind of want to be at the bottom of the Swashbuckler and then put her top or bottom, then have her walk into range, have them walk away from the targets. I always suggest to people, if you're not comfortable with understanding when and where to play Swashbuckler, it's probably best even if she's on your side in Team Wars to just not play her, unless you literally have like 10 seconds left, no other play, people at your doorstep, you just have to get them away from your new kid. You know, maybe that'll work out. See right there. Oh, and that's an important distinction actually. So right here, we didn't kill these rats really quickly because an important distinction for this bug. You see how our new kid didn't do the bug that happened earlier? An important distinction to that bug is that it has to be at max new kid range. So every single one of those rats was walking right into max new kid range every single time. And so if it's not max new kid range, you're not going to get that bug. You're not going to get those double hits. Decent ninja, I guess. No, it's a pretty bad ninja. I used the rats partially to maybe like discourage the cock magic, but also trying to kill the or get the value from the Captain Wendy. I didn't want Captain Wendy to hit my Captain Wendy, basically. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think Aerostorm kills. I'm thinking here he mind controls me, uses my ability on my own bar, and I lose because of that. So I was ready to mind control right back. So right here, not terrible. You know, you think if he uses his cock magic, he loses a pretty high amount of value because his Osmo is fully alive. So you can just kind of wait here and see, is he going to use it or not? If he does, you know, we lost a little bit of value, but the Princess Kenny coming out, kind of debate the arrows potentially to see if maybe he does or doesn't have cock magic. So I don't want to, but he's, you know, he's got enough energy out there where I was like, all right, well, if he cock magics me, I'll still probably take the bar. So no big deal. We put the rats out there. Now that one was definitely to discourage the cock magic play. So if he does cock magic me, nothing would really happen. Mackie on defense. I could have just played Aerostorm there, but all right, he was kind of waiting for that Satan value. This is pretty good. We used the Murph to go right to New Kid because there's no... That was one reason why Murph was a fairly good choice this week. Because Mackie on defense, Satan, potentially Man, Bear, Pig. There's a few rats. There's a few situations where he'll be able to go right to New Kid, even if you have 4 energy, 5, 6 energy out on the board. We're going for that last one. Go! Yeah, see, Ninju on Midberry or on Manberry Pig is kind of the reason you would go Manberry Pig, or Ninju really, because that's brutal. But potentially, I didn't like the Ninju pick. I thought Incan was pretty powerful. Ninju's quite situational. I mean, obviously it's a win condition, but the problem is your Ninju push could just get cock magic. Your Ninja push could just get Sataned. Your Ninja push is one mind control, one potentially well-placed mind control away from also killing itself. So it's interesting. I'm trying to just slow play as much as I can here to try to... that was an interesting deckhand play there. To try to just get value from my tanks and my Mackie. Aerostorm should kill the Timmy, but Captain Wendy might be able to do it as if he survived. Yeah, see, it's a max level 6 because we upgraded her to 7. So if that's pretty much the only reason she survived was because of that max. Otherwise, she would have been dead. Deadzo. All right, so we got double tank out. He's got his tank. This is where like maybe this is a good play because he gets like value. He could cock magic me here and get value. I'd still get quite a few cocks though, and Captain Wendy's one of the few things that kind of can help deal with cocks. So even if you get I'm waiting on the princess for the cock magic. There you go. See, I was preempting that. I knew he was gonna cock magic, so I waited with the princess and got the bar from it. So cock magic, that's why cock magic is in Team Wars. I'd never feel, even if it is the right choice, I never feel like it's the right choice, because against a good player that knows that cock magic is an option, they're typically gonna be able to prevent. And look at how many, 2, 3. He got 3. The rat got 3 hits off if he wasn't hit with princess. That would have been the bar. The Poseidon slow would have been enough to get the bar right there. Poseidon slow, one of the few things that slows New Kid. Actually might be the only thing that slows New Kid. Now that I think about it. Towley doesn't. What else slows? Not a whole lot of stuff slows. Lava? I don't know. I can't. No, lava doesn't, because when Disarray does it, it like goes around it. So lava doesn't. Poseidon the only slow? No, Witch. That's the only 2 slows in the game? Freeze, yeah, Freeze is different. Right now I'm just trying to bang energy to try to get that last bar. Timmy. Get him. Yeah. Nice win. Alright, we got Shinigami, which is a name that I recognize. I don't know the team necessarily, but Oh yeah, Archangel. Oh, Towley too. So there's not many slows though. Surprisingly, there's more stuns than slows, right? You go hand in hand, you take the slows. You go Poseidon, Witch, Towley, Archangel. 4 slows, that's it. Did I miss one? Don't think so. I think, you know what? That would be interesting. What if while you're taunted? No, I think what they should do to Swashbuckler. Because I just don't, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have absolutely gotten 4 value out of her on multiple instances. It's possible. She's a good card when used right. But the problem is, what makes her good, one, it doesn't last forever, which is strange because most other stuff in this game is permanent, or at least semi-permanent. Jimbo is probably the example of how, to an extent, it's not permanent. That was an interesting ninja play there to try to get some value. The Satan could come. Now Mackie, if he would have played it a little differently, I guess he was trying to prevent his Satan from hitting his cards. If he would have played it differently, his new kid would have been blasting my guy with the Mackie damage. But now he doesn't have that, so we're gonna see what happens here. Oh, that was the reason I didn't do that is because Princess hit my princess. Oh, look at that, it ended up working out. Princess hit my princess. Oh no, Mackie, but the Swashbuckler keeping him alive. So see, in this instance, that worked pretty well. Kept the Mackie away from new kid. Probably worth the 4 energy. But it's very easy to not get the energy from that card and just waste 4 energy. I think the same of quite a few cards. Critters is one of them. It's very easy to not get real value from the critters. You'll be sitting there with the critters plus 500 and wondering why you're losing. Tower is one I think is difficult to get value out of. Coop in some cases. If it's not like a Nicole, if it's a Nicole deck, it's a little bit easier to understand where that value comes from. But otherwise, man, I really hate. Oh, Captain Wendy on new kid with that plus 107. The slow hitting oh my lord. Did the slow hit them? Yeah, the slow did hit them. I stole. See, this is an instance of, you know, if they were closer, we could steal it from them. Not bad. Nice win. Nice win. Don't forget, if you want to check out all of the games from Team Wars this week, up in the corner should be a little eye icon. If you click that, you'll be able to see the tags or the cards for this video, and it will be up there. We do every week. We do the Team Wars, or we do the update live. Then we put that on YouTube on Tuesday, and then on Monday we put up the games, all the games from, you know, the week before. And then we also do, so this is a good use of Mackie here. Use him behind your tank, and especially with Osimo, because Osimo actually has a pretty quick attack. Obviously his attack is slightly skewed by the damage from the Murph. Now the reason I played the rats there just into death was because I wanted them to get a little damage before they died, but I didn't want them to hit Osimo and then also hit New Kid, which it might have. I wasn't 100% sure. If you include Ninju in there, there's just a lot of you don't want to give them free chip this week. Now that was really lucky there. I was sitting there slamming the that was good value arrow storm there. I was sitting there slamming this is what I mean, where you want them to walk as much as you can. So you want them to walk around a new kid if at all possible. But in this instance, this works out pretty well. Princess Kenny ends up not taking the damage, the killing blow for the other Princess Kenny. So he's able to just sit there and blast. It took away new kid's damage, but definitely better overall DPS that my princess was able to sit there. And obviously in other situations I might play Poseidon behind, but I have the bar lead. There's a minute left. We just need bodies in front of new kid. God forbid it starts lagging, right? On your YouTube, you have to play the music for copyright. No, the gameplay sound is fine on. I just despise the gameplay sound for games like this. Like, I can't understand how anybody, no offense to any of you who do this, but I can't understand anybody who plays it for an extended period of time with the sound on, or watches somebody else play it with the sound on for an extended period of time, because it's just it's maddening to me to just hear I gotta go. You know what I mean? It's just like I can't fucking stand it. So that's part of the reason why I don't like to have the sound. Another reason I don't like to have the sound is because if I'm doing videos with it and I'm changing the speed, it's very obvious when you change the speed. It's very obvious you change the speed when there's the sound. It's not quite as obvious when I'm running this like chill music or something in the background, it's not quite as obvious that you're updating the speed. But yeah, that's mainly the reason I don't play with sound. I play with sound on my tablet, and I turn it on and off depending on the game. Sometimes I like to hear what they say. And I mean, technically, from a technical standpoint, it is probably better to play with the sound on if you're trying to be as sweaty as you can be, because you'll get sound cues for every card when they get laid. So if you have a bunch of shit going on, and they play, you know, Hanky behind their Satan and Midberry Crunch or Manberry Pig, whatever, and you can't really see it, you can still hear when he says honey huh, so you know, oh shit, that's a Hanky, Aerostorm, or whatever it might be. So I would say there's some nuance to that. You know, maybe you could start hearing charges go off, or you could use it to time different things, but for the most part, I think the game's much more visual. You definitely don't get a lot of benefit from... That's actually the last game. You actually don't get a lot of benefit from the sound, so I don't think about it. I don't think about it. All right, let's look at the deck for next week. This is a reason why a lot of you are here. Appreciate you guys checking out my opinions on the deck every week. So what I like to do every week, kind of as a practice or whatever, is to look at the removal options for every week, or the spell options, really, to give you a feel for what other cards would be good or bad, and removal including, you know, removal through cards as well. So let's just glance. We got the Inuit removal potential. We have obviously Barbarate Explosion, Psalm Explosion. We have Freeze/Purify. We have a Poison/Lava. We got the Liane removal, and technically the Dark Mage, or the Dwarf King Craig. Some of these cards that don't get played very often, I always forget what they're like. Dwarf? What is he? Dwarf King? And then Monkey versus Canadian Knight Ike. All right. So no direct removal like Transmog or something like that. So Liane immediately becomes, you know, a pretty good target, but we'll go one by one here. Is your team one of those teams that's like no one's allowed to vote? I wouldn't say allowed to vote is the word, but we usually don't vote simply because we move around a lot. So some people jump back and forth between teams, so it's just easier if you just like don't vote. Or just wait till we're, you know, sure. A lot of times people will vote on one card, you know, that's for sure. Like this week, you could probably vote Robin Tweak and be pretty safe that that's gonna be your pick. All right, so let's look at Gunslinger Robo Bebe. I always love Gunslinger in Team Wars because the value that you can get on defense with Gunslinger, because Gunslinger, like we said earlier, is one of the few cards that boosts New Kid. Sparky does, Gunslinger does, Mackie does. I think that might be it for attack boosts that hit New Kid. Am I wrong in that? I think that's it. There's no other attack boost. There's no BHK doesn't, Ninja doesn't. There's nothing else that boosts attack. Yeah, that seems like everything. Hey Froggy, what's up, buddy? But yeah, Gunslinger, I think the upward potential of that ability for Gunslinger is definitely worth playing him. Robo Bebe, not terrible, but no swarm really to get stacks from, guaranteed stacks, and without stacks she's not very good. Gunslinger's a decent enough range card too, so Gunslinger's got way more upside. So I think Gunslinger's the obvious choice. I'd be surprised if you saw a lot of Bebes, but you never know. People might pick that. Skullzabutt versus Barbrady. Barbrady's typically going to be your choice because much cheaper and the Bar Brady damage on New Kid, one hit from Bar Brady can take the bar pretty much. So I would say definitely Bar Brady's the choice. And if you include Inuit in there for the amount of damage you can do to New Kid, Bar Brady's definitely the choice. And especially when you can Dar the Bar Brady, that's a fairly good play. Thanks, Froggy. So yeah, Scuzzlebutt, like if you had Scuzzlebutt max level, well, not max level, but 5-6. I would say still no, just simply because Leanne is gonna probably be in every deck, because most people consider Classy a bad card, and so Leanne's gonna be in the decks for the counters. You give tips on how to stream on my phone on Twitch. I don't actually stream from my phone, so I don't know too much about that. I know some phones you can just do it straight from your phone. Others you can mirror it. I use BlueStacks emulator personally to do it. I've yet to waste any mats on Sizzle yet. Yeah, I haven't had to yet either on my other accounts. He's sitting level 1. My hair's looking great today, except on this side because I was taking a nap. Yeah. But otherwise, this is looking pretty good. Yeah, it's not too difficult for some phone. I know Samsung has like a really simple mechanism to do it. Otherwise, you can do it through Streamlabs. Pretty simple. Quite a few apps will actually help you out. So yeah, Bar Brady, I think you'll see a lot of Bar Bradys. He'll actually be an important part. He's one of the, I'd say 2 or 3 real true win conditions this week is getting Bar Brady on New Kid. In this case, Inuit, I would say, is your choice. There's a lot of big units out there, and I don't really, there's nothing really that gets benefit from the Hanky. I guess you could go CKI and go Hanky, but even if you get a fat stacked CKI, he's dying to Leanne, he's dying to Sam, he's dying to Dwarf King or something like that. So even if you get Robin Tweak on him, Hanky on him, you just put Leanne out, and there's nothing you can do to stop my Leanne from killing your CKI. Like, there's nothing you can do. So I think the potential of the Inuit is really high here. Kill something like the Leanne quicker, kill the Slave. I think killing Slave is important, and just the DPS that you get from Inuit now after his change is pretty nice. Pretty nice. All right, what we got next? Garrison versus Dar. You got to go Dar here. Dar's a little bit less impacted by level, and while I will admit there's a lot of Garrison targets, there is a lot of Garrison targets. So killing one of the Garrison targets with Garrison isn't like the greatest deal. You know what I mean? A lot, even if I kill, Leanne faster, still a bunch of chickens afterwards. I do like the concept of the Garrison, but a lot of people don't have him leveled very much. And a Dar on a Bar Brady, a Dar on Leanne, a Dar on Slave, a Dar on Sam. Those are all win conditions sometimes, so much more value there for sure. So Dar's the choice. I would say I hate this Purify Freeze Ray choice. I really hate that, because it's like, at least give me an option to that, like maybe the freeze ray isn't gonna get purified. Yeah, I'd say Purify is the choice because of the poison as well. So you're gonna want the Purify for the poison, and added bonus that counters any dummy that picks freeze ray as well. So yeah, I would say Purify. I myself still like the freeze ray, so what I would probably do, there's no mind control or anything like that you could, like anything real important that you could purify in my opinion. I guess you could purify Gunslinger boost and like surprise them and kill. I don't think that's a good idea there. The Purify. I hate when they do that with this card. Because, yeah, what I would do is I'd pick Freeze Ray and try to bait the Purify with poison. Purified chickens. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, where they should change chicken, or they should change transmog to be you turn into a chicken that has as much health as the person that you turned into a chicken, but it takes, 10, 20, 30, 40% extra damage. Maybe that will be what matters when you upgrade transmog. And at the max level, he'll take like 50% extra damage, and if after X amount of time, maybe this is what gets upgraded, if after X amount of time the thing hasn't died yet, then it goes back to whatever it is. So if you transmog a Mimsy right at your new kid, that thing's fucking dead, right? But if you transmog a mecha that's behind enemy lines, or that's behind the back line and behind new kid, he just stays there, he doesn't die, and then he comes back to life after that certain amount of time. So that's what I would do, but who knows. But Freeze Ray, I just love the application of Freeze Ray. But yeah, Purify is the safer choice. There's a decent amount of stuff that you can purify that will be useful. So I don't think you can purify CKI's boost. Maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't think you can purify health bonuses. You can purify a DSR, but you don't get the health back, right? So Sam versus Shield Maiden. I'm torn on this one. This one might be a slot that has a lot of discussion around it in your teams this week. Mainly because probably the biggest argument for Shield Maiden would be cost. Just straight up cost. Sam could potentially die to the Inuit, which is obviously a good... I didn't mention that. Inuit's a good counter to the Sam. Shield Maiden could potentially kill the Inuit and shield it. There's not... obviously Sam could potentially deal with CKI, Monkey, Hanky, Inuit. I don't think his blast, the half blast, would kill Gunslinger or Bebe at decent levels, but it would if it gets full damage on him. So that could be good value. With potentially poison value, there's nothing in the game that would survive a half blast, Sam blast, and poison. Or at least range cards. I guess poison would be your Inuit target maybe, but that's kind of iffy. That's iffy because the enemy could purify that and then Inuit still kills a bunch of shit, or poison could be too slow and something else could still kill the Inuit. Obviously if they lead Inuit it might work, but that's something you might have to check in testing. If they lead Inuit level 6 or level 5 or 4, probably more likely, and you poison it at level 6, will it be dead with level 14 new kid before it gets there? I'm not sure. I like the Swordsman mostly not Swordsman, Shield Maiden. Mostly because this deck is fat as fuck. You got 3 slots that are 5 cost, 2 slots that are 4 potentially. You got the Slave, Classy, and Bar Brady slots, and those are always, whichever you pick, those are 5 cost. Or if you get Scuzzle, it's 6 or is it 7? Is he 7? I don't even know. Never play the card. Don't even know what his number is. I think he's 7, right? So to think that, I'm just gonna get really good Sam value, and then at the end of the day, after you've done a bunch of damage with your Sam, the enemy just uses DSR and gets their tank back, resets, nobody's dead, and you're shit out of luck. 7, thanks Hillbilly. So I would edge this towards the Shield Maiden. Obviously, the upward potential from the Psalm with no true removal is high, but there's pseudo removal in the Inuit and the Leanne. So also I think Dwarf King could be a potential good choice simply for the Psalm, but at the same time, cost what we're talking about, the 2 cost drop in that slot. We'll talk about that a bit later. So this one I would say is probably the most up for debate and could potentially be the biggest difference in decks for sure. Lava versus poison here. The argument against poison would be that the poison damage could just be purified. And I would say if you poison a group that's spread out, they can't purify everything. So if they purify one thing stays poison, that's technically a 1 cost poison, and it could still get value. You can't purify the lava value, but you also can't get fucking value out of the lava. So it's just not a good card. It's definitely on the list of cards like we were talking about, Swashbuckler, critters, shit that's just difficult to truly get value out of, because you could put lava in the middle of a push, slow down the whole push the whole time. It just doesn't matter really, you know, because like that 3 energy, when that 3 energy could be a monkey fucking you in the butt, or an Inuit clearing something, or a whole unit like Swashbuckler, or like Shield Maiden, excuse me, or weight 2 energy and it's a Bar Brady. Like, the lava just is not there. Now, I would say poison this week is not something that I would play often in this deck. Like, I can't think of very many situations where I'd want to use the poison. So I would say poison is more likely a kind of a dead card. You're not going to necessarily use it. But I mean, potentially killing the gunslinger with it, that's enough. And even if you do, like, even if you use poison on gunslinger, doesn't kill him, gets purified. You know, if you're running freeze ray, all of a sudden you know your freeze ray is good to go. So I think poison. I think an unplayed poison is a better choice and has more application than an absolutely unplayed lava. That card's just terrible. Leanne, for sure. I can't think of any reason why you'd pull Classy. Leanne is just going to be one of the few things where you can definitively deal with, you know, potentially Bar Brady Blast, Slave, Guzzles, I guess, Stom potentially. So, or a really stacked CKI. So, you know, honestly, managing your Leanne is going to be another part of, I would say it's number 2 on the win condition list. Number 1 win condition would be Bar Brady on New Kid. Number 2 win condition is massive Leanne value. Keep in mind, though, you're going to need something to deal with the cocks that Leanne could potentially create. So I would say that that's where the monkey kind of edges it out for me versus the CKI, because that monkey blast can really help deal with well, yeah, I'd say the monkey's the choice, because, you know, let's say you use poison, doesn't quite kill it. Monkey could maybe kill a unit in the back. There's no heal this week. So, well, I mean, there's heal from the Robin tweak. But that's, you know, 1 unit. You don't have to worry about an angel behind your push or something like that. Dar, I guess, is technically a heal to an extent. That's exactly my thoughts, though, Arkansas, that I wouldn't necessarily want to poison the Inuit, because, yeah, New Kid could hit it. I mean, if they play on their side, you could poison the Inuit, but then, you know, they could purify it, right? So I would honestly say these 2 slots should honestly, in most games, they'll go unplayed. So you'll be playing 3-carded, and you'll be stuck with potentially not a great choice. But you should typically always have one of these, and then always have something to defend it. So, well, I would say three win conditions so far. Bar Brady near New Kid. Big Dar value from either another Bar Brady, I would say, or another Slave, I would say, are the two biggest targets for that. Alternate targets would be Sam or Leanne. Obviously, the Leanne can be a brutal combo, but slightly difficult to pull off, especially at the lower levels of Dar. Not actually possible at all. I think level 3. I think it's possible at level 3, just very difficult. And what I mean by that play is when Leanne's about to die, you Dar her out of position. Leanne dies, kills everybody around her, and then you have another Leanne up in the opposite side. It's very brutal. Can be the difference. Like if the enemy's Leanne is in that push below you, yeah, it can get brutal. So yeah, good value there. And then the secondary targets obviously would be, yeah, Sam, Slave. I guess you could maybe Dar, I don't know. It would probably be a good idea to Dar CKI, because he comes back, he wouldn't have the boost. If he had the boost that he had when you kill him, that'd be sick. But yeah, Dar value is pretty obvious. Leanne, if you're comfortable. Slave, I would say, could be pretty good. But I would say the Bar Brady, because it'll let you pick when the Bar Brady dies. So if they're if they put a unit behind Bar Brady, and Bar Brady is slowly knocking himself away from New Kid, you could use it so he dies near New Kid. Dar Brady, yeah, exactly. Dwarf King versus Space Warrior. I'd say Dwarf King's only application would be to kill either CKI or Sam. Or, I guess, potentially break the Slave heal. Those would be the only real reasons I would see Dwarf King being an option. But Space Warrior can deal with... Space Warrior could break Slave heal potentially. Space Warrior could potentially deal with CKI. But you gotta be careful though. If like you're gonna use Space Warrior on CKI, you better be damn sure that you're gonna kill him with that damage, or else CKI could potentially survive, get knocked back, and then heal again, and you're shit out of luck. So yeah, Space Warrior. I like him for the cheapness, mainly. Just to keep the deck cycling and flowing, because you're gonna be, and it's a potential, you know, it's a potential assassin step. You know, play it quick again. You know, play a card with him. You know, play monkey and him against CKI, and CKI dies before he gets his ability off, right? So I don't hate that. I would say there's application of the Dwarf King though, so you could potentially go that way, but then your deck's getting really heavy, and you're gonna be potentially sitting there with some unusable cards. I would say Slave's the choice. You know, Santa with, you know what? Honestly, Slave's the choice simply because there's not a huge amount of stuff that can break the Slave this week. And the stuff that can, you kind of want to save for certain situations. But I would say the Gunslinger boost makes it interesting to maybe do Santa. You could get double Gunslinger, plus, you know, double Psalm potential could be dangerous, double Shield Maiden potential, double CKI, obviously. If you go CKI, I think maybe you should go Santa. That would probably be the difference. If you go Psalm and CKI and Hanky, definitely go Santa, obviously. If you go Shield Maiden Monkey, Inuit, I would probably go Slave. Slave's going to get you more value. Slave's another DAR target. I don't think Santa's necessarily a DAR target. Doesn't quite get the same value as, you know, Slave gets the extra cocks. Leanne gets the extra ability. Barbary gets the extra ability. Santa gets his health back, right? So it's definitely not as valuable as the other options for DAR. So I would not want Santa in the deck for that reason as well. But I think both could be very good. You could get just some brutal Psalm clears and shit like that because of the Santa. So, and there's no real way to deal with that if you've already built the push. So, but this week you got to be careful to not really build the pushes. Really, you got to really skirmish with the least amount of units you can, because at the end of the day, you don't want to feed energy to a poison, a Leanne, a Psalm, a Barbary Blast, anything like that. And then last but not least, Robin. I would say Robin versus Outlaw. I would say Robin is the clear choice here. We've seen Robin, you know, Robin Mintberry Crunch was the reason we won all 15 games a couple weeks ago. Robin this week, I would say the biggest targets would probably be the Shield Maiden Psalm slot. If you get the, you know, Shield Maiden is obviously the easiest unit in the game, I think, to get value from the Robin, because when you use the Robin on Shield Maiden, she could potentially be shielded, so you don't have to worry about how long it takes Robin to fucking work. At the same time, Robin, you know, maybe he gets freeze raid and then he gets sommed and then his ability doesn't even go off, or the other person dies, or his ability goes right into a Leanne or whatever it might be. So you got potential there where Robin could not be good, but there's no real potential for Outlaw to be good. Kills Gunslinger, decent. Kills Monkey, maybe decent, I guess, but not really worth it. So yeah, Robin Tweak's gonna be really worth it. Or a Psalm that's about to die, getting healed up, uses ability again, game over. That's really dangerous. And if you pair that with the DAR, so think about, you know, you play Bar Brady, he gets to decent amount, you know, health, fourth left, near new kid, you DAR him back, he gets hit, you know, he's blasting midway, and then all of a sudden he's got 700, you know, 900 extra health, and he's able to blast through what he's hitting, get to new kid, and blow up again. So there's a lot of value there. There's a lot of potential value there. So I like that a lot. I like the Robin tweak for sure. I don't think there's gonna be much debate on that one. And then the CKI versus the Monkey. I would say CKI has obviously a higher upside. He could become borderline unkillable this week if you play it right after the enemy Leanne dies. And then the only other real threat I would say would be the Inuit, or I guess maybe the Dark, or not. I want to say Dark Mage every time, but the Dwarf King. The Dwarf King could potentially be dangerous. I'll admit to that. But I don't think you're gonna see a whole lot of Dwarf Kings. So I think just the consistency of the Monkey. Monkey's much more likely to break the Slave. Monkey's much more likely to bust through the tanks. You know, Monkey damage could kill an Inuit, and then Inuit doesn't do anything. Monkey damage could finish off a range card that didn't die to Psalm Blast or Poison or something. Bar Brady Blast, whatever. There's, like I said, there's no real heal. And honestly, Robin on the Monkey, if you have just a terrible starting hand, you could start Monkey behind New Kid and then use Robin and hit the Monkey. That's all of a sudden a kind of difficult card to deal with. A Monkey with 700 health. But obviously, if you're running CKI, the goal would be get CKI out. You use Robin on him. Then you support him with Santa and get the hanky out there. I would say if you run CKI, you'd probably want to run the freeze. Or maybe you want to run the Purify. Yeah, you probably want to run the Purify so that if your CKI gets frozen. I take that back. I guess one thing you could maybe worry about is the lava slowing you down to be able to use the ability. If you do get lava'd, just remember, use your ability much sooner than you normally would. For CKI. I mean, CKI is obviously a win condition. So playing him, adding him to the deck, adds a full win condition to the deck. But I would say if you play him wrong, he just gets killed by Som. If you play him wrong, he just gets killed by Inuit. If you play him wrong, you know, he doesn't get as much value as potentially Monkey could every time. So that's like a, you know, Ninja versus Medusa kind of thing. Medusa might be more consistent, but Ninja is much more, you know, it's much more of a home run than a single. And sometimes you need a home run in your deck. So I could see this one being up for debate. And the biggest problem I would say is like this choice alone impacts your deck. Like you're either running a CKI deck, which means you have Santa, probably Shield Maiden. You probably, like, if you're running CKI, you want all the cheapest choices you can have. That's gonna help a lot. Slave can slap the monkey. So. Slave will beat the monkey. Easy. Appreciate you guys being here so late, though. Sorry to get started that late. Mine apologies. But yeah, I would say so. So this, you know, makes the choices a little bit more defined, I guess. But otherwise, this slot is either, you know, no matter what you choose here, this slot is probably up for debate. This slot's probably up for debate. This slot could probably be up for debate, but more so if you pick the CKI for sure. Otherwise, I think most stuff's going to be pretty obvious. This one, maybe you like, this one's going to take a little bit of debate. This one, I think either one is just like a dead card. Just, I wouldn't put caps in either one of them because like if you have a high level poison, you might potentially play it thinking, all right, this is going to kill him, but it doesn't actually do it. But I would say best poison application is, I mean, it's really just like poison's there in case they play their Purify poorly. If they, like, you know, maybe you play Gunslinger, use the ability, and they Purify your Gunslinger ability, then I would say you could try to poison their Inuit or something like that, you know? Oh, my eyes kill me. But yeah, looks like a pretty good one. It'll be interesting. Like I said, biggest win condition, Barbarita, a new kid. Som damage could be one. Dar value, Leanne value. And then, you know, potentially getting the CKI set up if that's the way your team goes. And then also I'd put on there Robin Tweak value. That could be a win condition. You get Robin Tweak on the Som or the Shield Maiden or one of the assassins, heals up the slave again, whatever it might be. That could be really impactful. I don't hate that whatsoever. All right, well, let's move right along. Since it's so late, we won't dilly-dally. We'll get you guys to bed. All right. All right. Sorry, my voice is really gravelly today. I can't. It's like I just woke up. I guess I sort of did. All right. So we're continuing this Showdown 2020 thing. If you didn't know what that is, basically they're just putting cards against each other, and it was never really defined whether that means what's the best card in the game, what would happen if those two cards went up against each other 1v1, which card you like better, which unit you like better, which character you like better. It was never really defined at all. So it's kind of a crapshoot. It's like a popularity contest, basically. Like, you know, who do you like more? And then they pick that for, you know, the character showdown PvP challenge kind of all the contestants in the showdown, which was like, you know, however many, 64 probably traditionally for a bracketing system like this. Those ones are all boosted. So I think, do they include a list of what's boosted in chaos mode now? You can see that in the game, or you can go and check out. I will say one thing is they're making all these cool, like this versus this, and I'm just kind of, I feel like I'm just gonna steal them all. But one thing to note is that chaos mode will be free to play, basically. You won't need to spend cash to re-enter the, reset your card, whatever you want to call it. So that's fun if you really like to grind the chaos mode for the coins and the potential legend chances. Definitely a lot of fun. I usually don't suggest to grind chaos mode unless you're consistently getting at least 8 wins. You can't pull that off. It's not worth spending your cash. But in this situation, since, you know, re-entry fees are forever, or are free, you know, you don't have to feel so bad if you lose 3 in a row and don't get anything at all. So I would say definitely grind some chaos mode this week, have some fun, see what other people are playing, and then play that. Just play the meta. It's not really worth trying to figure out other things that work. Unless it's obvious to you, you know, something that would be more fun. Then we're gonna have a normal kind of setup. No event on Wednesday, but we got token events and mission events on Tuesday and Thursday. Monday, obviously today, we're finishing up anything Sparky. Friday, we have like a showdown thing, like they were saying. So this is the card list. Kind of interesting card list. I see the City Walk guy, but not really anything that boosts him. I see the War Hero, but no Sheriff, so that's good. You might see, you'll probably still see War Hero Sheriff combos, but at least Sheriff won't be boosted. Or not Sheriff, Jimbo, whatever. What's Jimbo's? Hunter Jimbo. I would probably say, looking at this, I'd probably go adventure sci-fi with points for Ink and Craig, Gizmo, Sizzler. Probably throw Sheriff in there. And then War Hero Ned with Hunter. That's 6 of your cards. Then you fill it in with... So that's a 5-point deck. I feel like I've decided that like 5-point decks are kind of what I try to build. 5-point decks, usually the event doesn't take too long. You can build more, go for it. But if it makes it like a worse deck, it's better to run a 5-point deck that's going to have an 80% win condition than a 6-point deck, 6, 7, or 8 that's going to have like a 40% win condition, right? You're going to make much more progress with that 5 deck that's going to win more consistently. For sure. So that's going to be a fun one. Discord, one less note. There will be a compensation pack sent out because there are some outages on Friday. All right. Hey Toller, are there any plans for tie-ins with season 25? That is one of the things about this game that makes you kind of feel like there's always going to be kind of a source of new material, technically, because they have new episodes where they can try to pull in cards from every week. So that'll be nice. I assume they're going to still do that. Why? I don't know why they would stop, unless because of all the changes, maybe they don't have the same deal with them anymore or something like that. I assume they still have it, but who knows. Hey Toller, are there any plans for a real nerf of member berries? I mean, you can't say that this wasn't a nerf. I forgot that change also went through the 2 from 3 to 2. You can't say that that's not also a nerf. Is it good enough? I mean, it definitely lowers their overall impact. That's for damn sure. But we've all seen, you know, even one, I think the biggest problem is the range. The biggest problem is that you can spawn, even if you just spawn one, if that one spawns right next to my new kid and the spawn you get is man bear pig, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, you know? That's the bullshit. So, yeah, I would say that's what they need to look at. Maybe it shouldn't reach into enemy territory as much or something like that. I don't know how you do that though. Like, how do you do that AoE? Maybe it does just count on your side. I mean, what if they change it to, instead of having an AoE, it's just the entire side? No, because then you could play it in the corner and you couldn't step on it. Maybe there's like a part in the middle where from midline to in front of new kid, or in a cone, you know, because there's some places where you can't walk there either. So that cone around new kid, you can only play member berries in a position where it actually could be potentially stepped on. And then when you play member berries, it covers the entire floor, but only on your side. So if they have so when the member berries go off, if they have anybody anywhere on your side of the field, you'll get a member berry from that. Obviously like 2 though. Make it killable, that's a potential thing. Yeah, I agree. Obviously Toolshed can sort of deal with it, but it's very difficult because he's got more of a potential to just step on it than he does to actually get rid of it. Yeah, I would say something, you know, Arrow Storm should deal with it, you know, it should get rid of it. Fireball should get rid of it, stuff like that. You know, you should be able to target it. I wouldn't think, obviously, that you should be able to, like, target it with, like, units. I wouldn't want you to be able to, like, hit member berries with Mecha Timmy or something like that and blow it up with a range card. But maybe. It's definitely better than what they have now. It's just such a small range that you can actually step on, which is kind of a problem. Will there be ever any new features in this game? Honestly, probably not. Based on what I've seen in a lot of other games, once they kind of develop their core in the first year or two, they don't really update that. Obviously card levels and stuff like that could be different. But I would say, considering the fact that they've released so many cards, it would be better for us if card levels didn't go up, and instead of that you created a way to, like, use your level 7 cards. What I always suggest is what Tactical Monster Rumble Arena did, where as you level up, well, in some games it's just, you know, the games that have one single currency where it's like coins is what you use in the shop, coins is what you use to upgrade, coins is what you use to buy stuff, coins is what you get from most every reward situations. It's just coins. And then when you upgrade something to max, if you get that thing again, you get coins, right? So you just get coins. In this game, you can't really do that, because if you transferred all my extra cards to coins, it wouldn't mean a fucking thing to me. Wouldn't mean a goddamn thing. I have 700,000 coins right now on my main account. It doesn't mean a fucking thing to me. So what I would say is you do a system, like I was saying, Tactical Monster Rumble Arena, which is a kind of fun game. Wouldn't suggest starting to play it though. But they have something called the Supreme Shop. And in the Supreme Shop, you can take your cards after they reach, I think it's level 25 is max in that game, or 23 or something. After you reach that level, you can take your extra cards and put them into that shop. Or maybe it happens automatically, I can't remember. And you'll get points for them. And every day that shop resets, every week that shop resets, I can't remember. And it's basically like the best stuff you can get in the game. You can get decent legend deals, you can get really good epic packs, you can get all sorts of stuff. You can get exclusive banners and profile icons and emotes and stuff like that. So it's that kind of idea would be what I would do, where give yourself a reason to grind, really, and to buy too, because I think one thing that really has I spend more money in other games nowadays, because in these other games you get value when you buy these cards. Like they just released a new card in Champion Strike, and with maybe $150 worth of buying the right things that give me the right stuff and kind of give me choices, I have it one level away from max level. So that's impossible on new cards on South Park, right? Because they just, like, even if you get a free thing, it's like you have a higher chance at it. You don't get guaranteed stuff, right? So typically there's not new stuff. More card levels, I hope not, but maybe it'll happen someday. But I would say that most people that are like, oh, add more card levels, none of them are going to get an advantage. I would say at this point in time, there was probably only 6 people that, based on their progression, would have enough cards to upgrade a common to level 6 or to level 8. I don't think there'd be anybody that would have a rare that would have enough extra copies, because if you need 1,500, you need at least 3,000 rares, if not more, most likely. That's a lot. No one's getting anywhere near level 8 epics ever. I don't even think people are near level 7, really. Nobody's getting near 8 legends anytime soon. So, like, maybe there'll be some people that'll have level 8 commons, but there's a dozen maybe that have it right now. It's just not. It's so like, what's the point of, oh yeah, have more card levels? It's not gonna help you. It's not gonna matter. What would be better is if you add another element of stuff to collect, like equipment or something, where you can equip your new kid, or you can equip cards or whatever, so that instead of getting more cards that you've been getting for 3 years, you start collecting new things like weapons and swords and guns and shields and that kind of stuff, and then that upgrades, and then that's a new level of, so you don't have to worry about, okay, maybe I open this PvP pack and I get all cards that I have level 7, but I get a couple equipment cards that I don't have leveled up, so that's good. That would be kind of what I would do. But a big problem is, like I was saying, I don't buy on South Park very much anymore. The only stuff I buy is, I put money in to be able to refresh packs, because if I'm not refreshing packs, I feel like I'm not really benefiting from my time. You know what I mean? Like, you're not getting enough rewards for your time, basically. But other stuff's just not worth it, and most of the reason is because I buy a pack on my main account, and I'll get two epics that aren't level 6, or that are level 5. I'll get 2 epics, 100 out of 350, and everything else I'll be level 7. So I think they should really do something so that, like, if it's a paid pack that you buy, or buy with money or with cash to an extent, it should be heavily prioritized to not give you cards that you already have 7. So I'd be much more likely to buy platinum packs or something like that if, as a whale who has quite a few cards level 7, if I actually can buy these packs and get pinpointed into these specific rares or these specific commons, that would be great. And I don't think it would be very game breaking, because even if you can kind of hone in on specific epics or legends, you just need so many of those that it wouldn't really benefit you that much. New kid level, I hope they never change it, just simply because the balance of new kid feels pretty good right now, and if they change that, update that, then all the other cards would have to kind of come with it, and it would get lame. It would get really slow, it would get really, really boring games. If they do something with new kid level, they should do a cosmetic new kid level. Every 10,000 experience, you get a pack. Your new kid level goes up. Does nothing at all except new kid level goes up. no impact in the game. Once you hit 25, your combat level is max. Good thinking, making chaos runs free. Apparently there was a hacker that was ruining the stuff, as per usual. Can we have the option to friendly fight using our card levels? Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's most important for team wars, where you can't really get a feel for testing different deck types, because I can't really get a feel for how my legend card is gonna play at level 1 in friendly fights, right? So that you can only just kind of get an idea of like relative deck cycle and how certain things feel. If I could play at my card levels, or maybe like a tournament level, which would be like, you know, 6543 kind of thing. New Kid 18, something like that. Obviously the best would be is if you could just pick, you know, you could pick Legends 5, you know, or you could pick them all 7, you know, then you could potentially have tournaments where, you know, it's all 7 cards or something like that. So I think they definitely one of the things they dropped the ball on is having a robust friendly fight system and stuff like that. Champion Strike does it really well. You can pick and choose the levels and stuff like that. Your cards, our cards, whatever. And then also Champion Strike has this really sweet comparison tool where you can compare cards at all different levels. It's really awesome. But I completely agree. That would be very nice. If nothing else, let us pick, you know, our levels, you know, whatever you currently have. That's fair at all levels, at least. Gets you a feel for what's good and what's bad. Or at least maybe challenge level. Or not challenge level, sorry, like the tournament level, like I was saying. Challenge level is what friendly fight is. But yeah, I agree completely. I agree. Friendly reminder, playing interest is dying due to lack of development. Friendly reminder, he says, on an account that only has 1 post. That's weird. Desperately need new features in game modes. Yeah, but that's the thing. Cards are cheap to make in comparison to adding full like game features and stuff. And at this point, they don't have the dev team to make big feature changes. They just don't. And they're never like, it's not going to get more. It's not going to get more development. It's just, we're going to be constantly in threat of getting less development. So I would praise the continued support of adding new cards that keeps the game around, but who knows. Don't care about that. Don't bother with the ads if you can work without them. Several are starting to crash or freeze. They definitely freeze on BlueStacks. I don't think I see too many issues on my phone. But we'll see. We lost our team wars because the other team had 1 member more. They had 44. The players who have was 45. I mean, that's just gonna happen in certain situations. You know, if you had 50, you couldn't make that excuse, right? But yeah, I think the bracketing does what it can. You know, obviously, it's like a somewhat of a problem with having just like a 5-man bracket. Is there's always going to be people that are going to get the short end of the stick and get bracketed in a way that's pretty much unfair. Yeah, it's pretty much unsurmountable to an extent. So, but I will say that at lower level, you know, at places where there's 44 players and 45, you know, maybe both teams had 46 eligible players, and this team had 2 that's missed. This team only had 1 that missed, right? So I don't know. I can't really know if this is enough information to know whether or not or I guess he says all of his team members played. I mean, that's just unlucky, I guess. That means there's like nobody else around you playing 44 or 45. And they kind of took away the benefit of running not lower. Or I guess the punishment, I guess. So it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. It is still there. It's just a really low amount. No event on Wednesday. Boring. Fucking go outside, dude. If some of the members would have gotten a better score, they would have won. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't all my team. Both teams were 114. You know, like a higher up team. If you're at 44, that's probably not what's happening. She's a punching bag for Red Link so they can ignore us but keep the player base taken there if they're listening. Why are people so cynical? Like, they're listening. They just don't give a fuck. Like, do you complain about like Walmart and Facebook and and all sorts of big companies like that, and like you're trying to figure out why are they not listening to me, man? Like, why is McDonald's not doing what I tell them to? Delete Cow Stampede. Now it's ruining lower leagues. I will admit Cow Stampede's a brutal card at lower leagues. Please buff Pirate Wendy. Hell yeah. Shelly, agreed. What I would do for Shelly is make her ability more impactful in some way. What I would do is make it a bigger line. Like, make it a line straight in front of her that knocks back, instead of a stupid cone that some cards don't even get to her, like Sheriff and shit like that. Or Hunter. I always say Sheriff. Thunderbird definitely needs his weird glitches fixed. And I think what he needs is like a counter power bind mechanism. What he should do is when he gets power binded, he should go into like berserk mode and he should get a speed boost and he should turn red and he should just run towards New Kid. And when he gets there, he blows up for a certain amount of damage. Kind of like a one-time Dougie sort of thing. Because otherwise it's like he's just a big dumb piece of shit that's just taking some damage and doesn't do doesn't do anything. It's just bullshit. Or at least give him some sort of attack himself, like where if he gets power binded, at least the guy still attacks. Maybe his beak goes like meh, meh. Maybe he zaps the New Kid with a little lightning or something like that every couple seconds. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just something where it's not too, you can spend 2 energy to make my 4 energy literally worthless, because New Kid is gonna kill Thunderbird in 30 seconds. So it's not like the power bind is gonna survive. Or he's gonna survive the power bind. Why can you power bind a fucking machine? It doesn't make sense. I agree though. Gunslinger kind of underleveled. Shelly, Thunderbird, Sharon to an extent, Pirate Ship Wendy, or a Pirate Ship Timmy, Pirate Wendy, Heidi. A lot of cards that just don't get any love in higher tiers. I'm so thankful you got rid of Adventure Locked accounts. That was the main problem with the game. Not terrible events or bland chaos mode or broken or buggy cards. I think that's being facetious, but I would say that it probably didn't make life better for anybody, because any good Adventure Lock account got better because it got Transmog, it got Hyperdrive, it got Purify. Purify, I would say, is the most important thing that I got. Powerbind, shit like that. I think I said Powerbind twice. But, yeah, I like the, I like the, I like his idea, but truthfully, it stopped any new ones from being created. It's probably stopped anybody from playing like a baby account. But if anybody was already at like 6543, they're probably gonna keep playing it. It's still fun in Silver League on our Adventure Lock team. Please buff member berries. It's hard to get value from this useless card. Amen. Aliens Clyde Poison doesn't work on Archangel. Maybe it says. Well, it should hit his original poison. Should hit Alien Clyde, or should hit Bradley. But the AoE maybe is ground only. That wouldn't make sense. If I hit the aerial unit with it, it should AoE other aerial units too, right? I don't know. Maybe there's some nuance to that. I haven't played that one yet to look at how it works, so. My Adventure Neutral deck is still my main one. Added berries. Yeah. Get 2 players. Improvise. Adapt. That's funny. Get 2 more players. Oh, you lost with 44 to somebody who had 46? Go get, or to someone who had 45? Go get 46 players. That's totally true. I didn't know you could post pictures on the forums. That's funny. We might have to start doing that. Yeah, overall, these updates were, I don't want to say relatively meaningless, because I will say that extra second on the new kid blast is actually it's kind of nice. It's quite impactful. Makes that reset a little bit easier. And it's funny because every time it's happened, I'm like, shit, did my shit freeze? Like, did my game freeze? Because it's just after 4 years of the same exact thing, you know, card gets knocked back, stops for 1 second. Apparently it was 1 second. Stops for 1 second and then keeps going like that. I've been watching that for 4 years, you know, dozens of hours a week, and now it's double the length, so it just like feels slow. You know what I mean? It just feels like my game's crashing. So it's very interesting. But actually, we were gonna play some Sparky event after the Team Wars, but because we ended up going so late, and also because I ended up playing a little bit and finishing up the main accounts I cared about, so no big deal. So we're gonna get out of here a little bit. I don't want to say early, but it's only an hour and a half of the stream. We're gonna put this up on YouTube, and I appreciate it if you're watching this on YouTube. And we're gonna be kicking some content out as per usual. Tomorrow we will have this update posted, and then probably after the update we'll do that jokes and packs thing that I started. That was pretty fun. Got pretty decent viewership everywhere. So we're gonna do jokes and packs again. I'm gonna come up with a fun joke again to tell. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for another stream where we will be doing South Park and Chorus. We're actually gonna fucking get to it this time. We've been slacking on the stream, and I apologize, guys, but it's been, you know, work's been busy, which is good, and been doing a lot of stuff around the house and stuff like that, and, you know, stuff for the stream. Love that little kitty. Stuff for the stream, you know, like setting the Patreon up, and you know, working on trying to get a way to consistently do YouTube content without like killing myself. Like killing myself is meaning like working too hard. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. If you didn't already, make sure you check out all my links. If you're new to the stream, Froggy, welcome in, and hope you guys had a good one. Peace out, and have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.